This is Tracy with Inside Pool Magazine.
Hey, this is Nick DeLawder, Nikon Kid.
And they call me the Diva, and together we're called Billiard Talk, apparently, guys and gals. Yeah. It's been a minute since Nick and I have been in the same podcast together. My little mission with the kids have taken over my podcast time, and Nick's travel schedule has taken over his time, but we're all making it, and we've missed you guys tremendously, and we appreciate you guys following us. Nick, how's those travel plans going? Her little birdie told me you're heading to Germany.
Oh my God, I'm actually really excited, and I'm blessed. God, I mean, the UK was awesome. The experience was awesome. All the US players hanging together. You've seen all the Europe players hanging together, and it's really surreal. Like when you're there with everybody, because it's so like you're really like humble and excited to be there, but also you're like, okay, now I got to perform. Now it's like, now it's game time. You get there and you're like, you're excited. You've never been, and you get to, my wife actually got to go to the UK with me.
I was about to ask. It was a little different since Dory got to go this time.
Yeah, so it was really cool. Q-Tech was amazing and helped me out there to get her out there and everything with me. So thank you to you guys. You guys are awesome.
We thank you so much, Q-Tech, for taking care of my high chew partner and his bride. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and she loved it. It was always on her bucket list to get out there. Next time that we're out there, we're going to hit up Paris. But it was great, like just hanging out with them and then seeing everything and, being overseas and playing. It's a different experience. A lot of players don't get to see it or understand the big difference of it. And by me going, I understand the ideal when it comes to practice time instead of like action. And I've been seeing a lot difference in my game doing that. So it's a lot. And then Emily moved the European Open from November all the way up to August before the Texas Open. So I had to reach back out to some of my sponsors and let them know, like, hey, this kicked in early, what can you guys do for me, whatnot. So I'm really blessed to have the sponsors behind me and everything that they do for me to get me out to these events. So I appreciate every one of them. And I have my next event in Illinois, I believe.
You're going to the Racks?
Yeah, so it's the Racks on the Rocks.
Racks on the Rocks, yes.
Yeah, so it's 10,000 one pocket added. It's 10,000 bar table 9 ball, and it's 5,000 added big table 10 ball single elimination.
Right. That's an Omega Billiards event, right?
So I'm out there for 5 days. I've never been to the venue, never been out there, never even been to in like the Chicago, Illinois, and all that area. So that's going to be new for me. But I'm really excited. I'm getting ready for that event. And then I come back and I'm back for 10 days. And then I leave for the Texas Open for a week and a half. And that's the big 40,000 added at Skinny Bob's. Everybody knows it. It's packed. The top players in the world are going to be there. It's like the must go to event. And after that, it's time for me to gear up and get ready for Germany. I've never been out there. My grandpa's from Germany.
Awesome.
So I actually talked to him a little bit about going out that way because I'm not familiar with it. I've never been overseas other than Europe now. So now I'm going to Germany. So I believe that's Thorsten Homan's and the Filler's hometown is where, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be really fun going out there and getting that experience and seeing how that is out there.
Awesome. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah. Actually, I missed that event, I think. Hold on. Let me check my calendar.
I thought the Germany event was coming up before that, but maybe I'm wrong. I think both of our events overlap each other.
Yeah, here we go. So my bad. I have it backwards. Sorry, guys. I have it backwards. The European Open, the Racks on the Rocks is the 19th or the 25th of July. And then right after that, I leave to Sacramento to play Oscar Dominguez and Desiree's Hard Times 10,000 out of 10 ball. That is the 30th and 31st. And then when we get into August, it's the European Open, the 9th through the 13th. And after that is the Texas Open. So my mistake, guys.
I think while you're at one of your events, I will be at the World Games.
Yes.
you said I leave for the World Games. Well, I mean, it's in Birmingham, so it's in my backyard, but I'm going to actually stay in Birmingham, Alabama, because the drive from Huntsville to Birmingham in the morning is grotesque. So I'm not doing that. So I'm going to stay down in Birmingham for the week. I should be there from Tuesday the 12th until the final ball drops and the conclusion. I'm going to try to get as many photos as I can. I'm not quite sure what I can actually get. So it'll probably be mostly cell phone images. So you guys just stay tuned. You never know what I'm going to get into. Also, I will be possibly, if I can talk him into it, get a small interview with Mr. Johnny Mora from Canada. He's playing for the North American team along with Tyler Steyer, Shane Van Boning, Jennifer Beretta, and Brittany Bryant. So we've got a huge team. Yes, we do. It should be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. Also, Nick, I was going to ask you something. Is Dory going to be able to go with you to Germany?
No, unfortunately, this trip, she won't be able to make it, unfortunately.
Okay, so I can go and stay with Dory while you're gone.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah. I mean, I don't know how much food you guys are going to be having because I'll be gone.
Hey, I can cook. Dory doesn't have to cook. I can do that. I was going to ask you, what is the difference? Because a lot of the Americans don't understand the nerves that goes into walking into one of those events over in the UK. Can you explain the way the venue is set up and what it felt like when you walked in that arena while you were there in the UK?
Yeah, showing up to the UK, it was just different.
Because from what I understand, it's completely different than what you walk into here, correct?
Yes, yeah. So like the US is very and you guys take it for granted a lot of players do out here, because any event that we have out here other than the US Open, International Open, all that stuff, right? But any like monthly tournaments that we have in like the States or whatever, you can show up and you can get hour of practice, 2 hours of practice, 45 minutes before your tournament starts or your match starts. Where out there you show up and you see this big hall of just tables. I mean, they're just like, whether they're 24, whether there's 13, whatever it is, but there's really no practice time. Like the people that play early in the morning has a little bit of practice in the morning, but the people that play in like the midday and afternoon, like you get one rack and that's it. Like you get to play one rack for 2 minutes, and then you have to be ready to play a champion. Like it's so when I found that out for the first time, I was like, man, no wonder the Europeans are so strict on doing drills, so strict on working on their fundamentals. I mean, look at Federer. Every shot, every pre-shot routine, his whole routine is the same. Doesn't matter if the ball's hanging in the pocket, if he has ball in hand, or whatever the case is.
Right.
And by talking to some of them and seeing them play and them being completely ready after one rack, where we're like, normally we get 45 minutes, and it's like really 2 minutes and you're going to race the 9 with Niels or, the Coe brothers or, like happened to me, but it's something to get used to. So I've been doing more practicing and working on my fundamentals and my pre-shot routine and my stroke and all that stuff. So when I get out there, I should be already ready. Doesn't matter if I have to wake up at 9 a.m. or if I have to wake up at 11 a.m. And it's just a totally different feeling because when you walk in there, you have everybody there. I mean, like all of match rooms there. So that gets you a little bit like, oh my God, I'm finally here, And then you see, the Coe brothers walk by. You see Niels walk by, Shane, you see the fillers, like everybody's there. And it's so awesome because even when you're not playing, every match is a great match. It's really insane how great it is, the feeling to play in it and to get the experience and to push your game even further and further each time. So it's just one of the greatest feelings I ever had to feel when I actually get to go out overseas and say I actually been out there to play. So
right. Well, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah,
The crazy thing is I've known you for a year, and look how far you've come in a year. It is insane.
It is crazy, but all the credit goes to my wife. If I didn't have her in my life, she wasn't as supportive in everything that she does for me, and the sacrifices that there's no way I would be doing what I love to do. So
speaking of Miss DeLawder, I heard from a little birdie she is running several racks and jumping balls all over the state of Arizona. What is going on over there?
She is playing well. She's learning to play on the big table. We started her off on the bar table, but she is very dedicated. She's never been like competitive or anything like that in sports wise. So when she met me, it took a while for me to like kind of let her come around the pool scene because I had never brought anybody around the pool scene out here. And and I told her, I was like, it's like my family, my second family here in Arizona.
Absolutely.
And it's like I've known these people for close to 30 years, if not longer. When it comes,
you're showing your age. Stop that.
Hey, I'm just saying. It's just like it's been a long time for a lot of players, people that I've known out here, and I'm blessed to know a lot of the players and for them to support me and be in the corner with me. But she joined, and I mean, she sat there each day for weeks just shooting a ball in a pocket for probably like 200 balls each day, and the progression started going and going, and then she wanted to learn more, and she was a sponge. So she just took in all the information, and now it's just applying it. So every time she gets something down, then she learns something new, and then her game goes backwards, and then it jumps forward. So it's just a lot to go with. But once I taught her how to jump, it was like the most exciting thing for her to do. And she started practicing, and like I said, you guys can catch videos on my fan page. She practiced, she puts in the work. Now it's like going into kicking, learning how to kick just as good as she knows how to jump. So she's been putting in the time, and she did amazing out in the 625 and under tour that we have out here. She has to go to 3. Most people have to go to 4, 5, 6, or 7, and she made it. She made it to the second day. She was in the final 16, and then she lost the second day on the B side. But it was a big event for her.
She made it that far, though.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, there were 74 players that showed up.
It's huge.
Yeah, it was huge. And then now it's just she puts in the work. Like when she was working mornings, she'd have to leave by 6 a.m. She was up at 5 practicing for 30 minutes before she had to get ready for work.
That's the reason why you're answering my text messages.
But it's just
Dory got you away.
Yeah, it's the dedication, guys. It's
absolutely.
There's a video out there. I haven't really told anybody about this, but there's a video out there of Kobe Bryant, and he talks about his work ethic and his performance and he wanted to be better than everybody else. So he said, I know everybody's routine. I know everybody's whether they wake up at 9, they practice for 2 or 3 hours, they let their body rest, you practice for another 2 or 3 hours, and then come 9 or 10 o'clock, you're sleeping, you're waking up doing the same routine. So he's like, what can I do to outperform them each day? And he's all, I wake up at 4 a.m. Now I practice from 5 to 6 to 7, and then he sleeps or he rests his body, and then he practices again, rests his body. I'm getting 4 sessions in a day to their 2. So even if it comes to the spring training or whatever, a break or whatever after NBA, he says those guys can put in 100 hours each day during that time of we're not playing NBA, but they'll never catch up to me because of the fact that I'm putting in 4 to 5 sessions a day because I'm waking up at 4 a.m. So it's just all about asking questions too. He talks about him. He's all I sat there with Magic. I sat there with, asked questions about how'd you do this? How'd you do this? Why'd you do this? How'd you feel? And that's the same thing that I'm doing. I'm blessed to be where I'm at in the rankings. I've been performing great when I'm out there under pressure. It's been very, very great for the help that I've had from Oscar Dominguez and Tyler Steyer. It's been awesome with their information that they give me. And all I do when I'm out there is I'm asking questions. If they answer, they answer. Some players don't like to, but
Right.
A lot of them have no problem sitting there chit chatting with you and everything. So it's one of my videos.
I'm glad you're finding your way.
Yeah, and like it's a little uncomfortable when you first get there because you don't know the players, right? You just see like David and like Sanchez and Francisco, and I'm like, you go, hey, what's up? Like but there's no like you're like, okay, can I sit there and chat with them? But it's just because it's so like you don't know them, but they're all in their groups though, like Niels is with his people.
And we all have our clique.
Yeah, but I mean, like the Europeans are with
I think it's easier. Right. I think it's easier for me as a reporter. I'm sitting there and I'm a female, so they know what I do. So it's easier for me to chat with them. But you being a player, you're not quite sure if you can approach them, if they're willing to sit and chat with you, especially the players that you're not familiar with. I know a few of the players from overseas are like really laid back, especially your Filipinos.
Oh, no.
They're always willing to help.
They are so laid back. I mean, it was so awesome that I got to sit there and chit chat with Mario. We ran a cab together in the UK Open. David and Francisco, they've been really cool. It just, but like, Dory actually got to meet Shane Van Boeing and got to sit down with Wolfer and Skylar and Billy, like when we were all watching Skylar play Shane at the last event. Like it was really cool. We all kind of got to like sit and mix well with each other too. So, but I'm just a new kid on the block, so I'm just coming out of the woodwork, but I'm just getting to know everybody and I'm just doing the right thing. And I want to be out there and I want to be playing.
Well, you're doing us proud, Nick. You're doing us proud. I've never been so excited for you. Since I first met you, you've come so far, and I expect to see you one day on that Moscone Cup. You've got the drive, and you've got the heart, and it's just a matter of time. Persistent Billiards, he's been kind of hanging out with me when I'm doing the kids podcast, and he says,
awesome.
So far, everyone I've met at a pro level have been down to earth and very willing to help. He also says, let's bring that up. I've been able to play against Oi, Strickland, Sakura, Robles, and I'm hoping I catch the Roadrunner when I'm in Vegas in a few weeks. You be careful with her, sir.
Yeah, no, she is a firecracker. She is awesome. Her parents are awesome. They're really good people. And she has the drive, as you can see, everything's on social media. Like that's what I don't get. A lot of the younger group, the juniors, they need to get on that social media platform because that's going to build your fan base. It's going to build your sponsors up. You're going to do everything that you possibly can to get more and more that you need. And Jason Shaw, he's an amazing guy. Like, I mean, I never met him, but when he did the commentary for Shane Van Boeing and Dennis Orcol's first match, I think it was, before they rematched, I was so impressed with his commentary. Like he went into detail because a lot of people don't know, like, how do you get to this ball to this ball? And he gave out options so people can learn. And it was really awesome.
Absolutely.
And then, I joined Onboard Sportswear. And they're, of course,
congratulations.
Overseas. Thank you. And I'm teamed up with Jason Shaw's on there, the Fillers are on there, a couple others are on there, Darren Appleton. So I'm just getting a little closer and more comfortable with the champions. So
well, you fit right in. I mean, you're there to do what everybody else is doing, is make that money and get those points.
Yeah,
the money, it's tough.
Yeah, the money is just extra. I'm there to play. I want to show that I can do well, and I want to perform. And I so far I've been doing really well, and I just hope it continues. And like I said, I'm just putting in the work. So the more you put in, the more results you'll get. You don't put in the work, you won't get the results.
Right. Well, a little birdie also told me that you picked up a junior. Have you been coaching a junior, Mr. DeLawder?
I have been, and I'm actually very happy about it. It's my first ever junior. My good buddy,
I told you so. I told you.
Junior Carrizosa's son.
They're so
He's
much
9 years
fun.
old. I have a video on my fan page if you guys want to go check it out.
So you guys check out Nick DeLeon. I believe it's, what is it called, Nick?
It's
your
Nick
professional
DeLeon,
page?
Nikon Kid. Yeah, we could probably put it in the probably in the chat or whatever. So there's a link. I don't know how it would work, but yeah. So I just started his first lesson. He loves to hit balls. He gets excited about it. It's so awesome to see the excitement in his eyes. So we did some drills similar to what I did with Dory when she never held a cue, and within like an hour,
the 1,
he
2,
was
3
like,
was adorable.
Yeah, it was awesome. And like I was just like helping him out for the first 15 balls. So I'm holding the back of his cue and I'm like, okay, this is how we're gonna do it. He's like, okay. So I go 1, 2, and then 3, pause, and then fire. And then every time he does that, he's all in the video, you see it, he's all 1, 2, 3, pause, and fire. And then when he messes up, I go, oh, we have to bring up all the balls. And he's like, oh no.
Right, here we go again.
Yeah. But it's very,
awesome.
It's great, and I love it, and it's all about the junior players. The junior is the future, and we got to support them as much as possible to get them going on the right track and to keep them on the right track.
Absolutely. Let's see. Persistent says, I hit it twice. I also have an amazing coach who just reached his master level in the PBIA. Well, I'm glad you're getting those lessons in, Persistent, and we appreciate it. So basically, let me tell you about my little stint over at Buffalo's. We have a special guest coming on tonight. His name is Mike DeLawder. I met Mike about 2 years ago, Nick, possibly 3 at Sweet Melissa's in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I first got to know him as a Banks player. Mr. DeLawder is he's a very jovial character and very bigger than life. Not only is he extremely tall, his hands are massive. So his cue looks like this big when he's holding it. And he's been one amazing gentleman. You guys will get to know him a little later on in the show. But my time over at Buffalo's was actually very beneficial. I got to watch one of the greatest one-pocket matches ever seen. Tony Chohan was out of this world playing one-pocket that weekend. Josh Roberts, what can I say about that man? He has no quit in him, and he is coming up strong, Nick. Uh-oh. You've been muted. Nick's decided that he doesn't want to speak this afternoon. He's lip reading.
Sorry, guys.
But Josh Roberts is playing strong. I expect him to do very well over in Texas. Very well. Also, Alex Paguline was on point as usual. If you got the opportunity to see the picture of him and Tony, he's giving Tony the stink eye while Tony's holding that money.
Yeah. But I mean, it was just great.
It's a good experience.
Everybody kind of knew it was going to come down to those 2 players. So, I mean, no offense to anybody else, but like, I mean, you're mostly fighting for, third since, Dennis is not here,
Right.
Like, I mean, Tony's
absolutely. And we've missed Dennis, really.
Josh Roberts played fantastic against Alex. I watched that match. That was amazing. And then Alex came back to beat him to get in the finals. But, I mean, kudos to him, He's playing well and he's doing well, and I'll be seeing all of them in the Texas Open. So
it should be an experience, and I hope you have a fantastic time. I don't know if I'm going to get out that way this year. I have a lot going on, but I'll see what I can do. And on top of the Illinois, I have someone up in the Chicago area that offered me a place to stay if I wanted to go to Peoria. So we'll see what happens between now and then. But
don't worry. I think that Mr. Knit will be there in Texas Open too.
Well, I'm sure he'll keep you company along with the rest of them.
Yeah. AKA Melina Mike.
Melina Mike. He says, I'm sure you'll see my buddy Chris at the Texas Open. Well, there'll be several Chris's there persistent.
Yes.
Which one are we talking about?
Yeah. There's Chris Reinhold.
There's McDaniel, Reinhold. I don't know if McCreary's going to make it this year. I'm not quite sure. He came over.
You got to get in. Like, people that haven't went in and they want to go to this event. It is one of the best events.
You got to get in there early. It books quick. Little Chris.
Oh, Little Chris. Yeah, I know that guy.
Little Chris. All right. Fantastic. Let's see. What else were we going to talk about? I can't believe I am at a loss for words.
No,
that never happens.
It's been a while. It's been a while because we all been on separate tracks.
All I have are kids stuck in my head right now. These juniors are playing phenomenal over there. I mean, yes. Savannah Easton, Sophia Mass, my little sweet Jordan is playing her heart out over there right now. And I couldn't be more proud for my podcast kids. There are several hanging out over there and playing their little hearts out, and I couldn't be more proud of them.
No,
D'Angelo Spain, Jaws, he's getting sponsors left and right. Solado just picked him up.
Nice.
The kid's phenomenal. I mean, these kids are under 12 years old. It's insane how well they play.
But that's what we need.
It is insane.
That is exactly what we need from these players.
Absolutely. So. I mean, in order to carry this, in order to survive, because our sport, we're not getting where we need to be, and it's really going to come down to our juniors to help us keep our sport alive. It really is.
For sure. Because you have to. I mean, it's all about.
I hear Dory out there. It's always been about the juniors. We just sometimes we forget when we get into our adult lives that these kids need a little help. So if all of our fans out there, Mako Tips, www.makotips.com has created a foundation for our junior players. If you'll head on over to that website, at the bottom, I believe, of the page, you'll see a little link where you can click where you can donate. Also, they'll be selling jerseys. They'll be selling jerseys, and some of those proceeds will go to those juniors. They're working on putting together a Moscone Cup type event for 20 junior players, and one junior out of my podcast kids will be put on one of those teams. So if you guys have kids out there that want to get on the podcast with myself, then please reach out to myself or Nick DeLeon, and we'll get you a date and a time for your junior to come on. I don't care how many balls they can run. Let's promote and support our juniors. It's our future. Yeah. It's the future of our billiard community to stay alive. So we appreciate you guys following us.
Great.
They are some little demons out there. I mean, it's nonstop. My whole feed's full of these kids, and they're so excited, to see pool through the eyes of a child. It brings something different to the table because they learn so fast and they're in it wholeheartedly. They go 110%, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. And I hear Dory in the background hitting balls. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. She's practicing before she goes to work.
Bless her heart. She is something else. Well, while we're waiting on Mike to get here, he's I believe on his way home from work, so he's a little rushing. He said, "Let me get in the shower. I'll be right there."
Okay, no problem.
So what's on the agenda this week, Nick? Do you have anything pending? Do you have any small tournaments that you're planning on attending this weekend with?
No, unfortunately, they got rid of the only open tournament that we have here in Arizona. There's normally a Friday night open tournament bar table event, and now they canceled that and are no longer doing tournaments for that Friday. So hopefully that changes to another pool hall or whatnot, because don't get me wrong, you got chip tournaments out here left and right, but I think it's the worst thing that can possibly happen to pool, because now you're playing chip tournaments one game at a time. Well, when you go to BCA, Now you're playing a race, so your whole mental process is different because you win a game, you're like, oh no, I haven't won. I have to get to 5 or I have to get to 4. So
Right.
I just think that there needs to be more events that there's races, whether it's a race to 3, race to 5, whatever it is. I think it's a lot better for the pool community. So nothing for me, just supporting my wife. She's playing in a big tournament this weekend, and that's about it.
All right. Well, we're going to bring my friend Mike DeLawder on here in just a second. I'm going to run his promo video.
Well,
I'm sorry?
1 second. Wolf Billiards just made a comment.
He says he can't find your channel, Nick.
Okay, so you go to Facebook, and in the search bar, you're going to do Nick DeLeon, is DeLeon, and then Nikon Kid, and then it should pull up. Sorry to cut you off. I just saw the comment.
I got you. All right, I'm going to run Mike's video right quick, and then we're going to bring Mike on so he can
Let's go.
Tell us a little bit about himself and where he come from and when he started his pool career. And like I said, he's mostly known for his Banks game, but the man can play anything. He's pretty good at what he does.
Yeah,
absolutely. So coming up next, Mr. Mike DeLawder, and he's coming out of Florida. So this is Mike DeLawder's video.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your f***ing cloud, it be raining out, I keep making sound, go another round.
What's up,
hey,
guys?
Mike, what's up?
What's happening, Mike?
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you? Well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. All right, Mike, when did you start playing pool?
Well, my parents, when I was a little boy, we had a 9-foot Conley when I was a little boy. Then my parents got divorced. And then I started to pick up the game again right after high school, after my father passed away. And I played the game. It kind of kept me out of trouble a little bit. It got me in a little trouble, but it kept me out of trouble also. You know,
right? How'd you when you played? What'd you play, and how'd you deviate to just Banks? Because we already know. Like, I have a story I want you to talk about, but like, how'd you get into just Banks?
Well, I mean, I play all games. I play 1 pocket. I play Banks. I play 9-ball. But when I was younger, I played in the U.S. Open, and I was like, wow, these guys are almost unbeatable. They were so talented. I always thought Banks would be a game that I could maybe beat the best players in the world at, because I might, I put a lot of time in the game. It's a different, it's a different type of thinking. It's not just ball pocketing. It's measuring the conditions of the table. So I feel like you don't have to play every day to compete with the best players in the world. In Banks, like 9-ball, you have to be absolutely flawless. If you look at some of the big tournaments recently, these guys are running big packages. It's a lot of pressure. For me, Banks is just measuring the conditions, trying to get as close as possible. You know what I mean?
No, totally.
Fantastic. Awesome. How old were you when you went into the U.S. Open, Mike?
I think the first time I've played in the U.S. Open like 13 or 14 times, self-sponsored, and I've cashed 3 times. My best finish, I think, was 52nd. I've cashed 3 times, and yeah, I mean, 9-ball is just such a game of, you almost have to be flawless. I really enjoyed Banks. The process in which manner you deliver your stroke. You have to deliver your stroke to get the timing, and all the variables have to be. You have to have more variables working for you, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
No, totally. Yeah, everything has to be lined up right. I mean, look at Tony Chohan. I mean, just watching him and Chip play. I mean, he's almost like rail to rail, and he's firing a long rail bank. I mean, sometimes it's go, but it's like in the jaws of the pocket, But it's just like he fires at him, and there's no lagging it to the pocket. Like, it's just a different kind of game.
Yeah, I mean, for 1 pocket, you're gonna, Tony's a different breed. I mean, a lot of times where you see guys like Joey Gray, where they lag the ball to the hole. Tony, sometimes he kind of goes all in, and he's more of an attacker. But his cue ball, a lot of people don't know this about Tony. The reason why he can shoot the shots he shoots is because he plays his cue ball his cue ball is pretty amazing. It's kind of like Bustamante. Bustamante can shoot two-way shots where he's ducking the cue ball, and he really, really receives a lot of value as a whole because he's playing his cue ball to the fullest. And Correct. The object ball is almost like a bonus. In Banks, you're defending against 6 holes. In one pocket, you're defending against 1 hole. So it's kind of a different strategy, but they're both equally awesome. You know what I mean? I think your basis for speed in Banks would be a little firmer, opposed to like one pocket's a little bit slower speed base, in terms of banking, and bank slower speeds because you have to hang the ball. If you don't hang the ball, that ball becomes value to your opponent. So, you know what I mean?
No, totally.
Mike, what's in your case?
I play with a Chris Nitty. He's a local cue maker of the year 2014. Chris is from up north. He moved down Florida with a good friend of mine named David Elliott. David Elliott's he's a young. David is an understudy of Chris, but the cool thing is David deals with higher technology. He deals with the modern technology cue making, where Chris is more old school. You know what I mean? A lot more handmade. David has different machines where he's measuring with the machine, and instead of creating so many jigs, he has a machine that makes his cues. It's really fascinating, the different style. It's kind of like the old school style pool players versus the new school style. You got the old maple shaft guys that aim at their ear to hit their nose, and now you have the low deflection carbon. You can get in a barroom fight and it's still ready to go play. You know what I'm saying? So you can't hurt it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, it's an honor to be on. Tracy, I love what you do for pool. I really appreciate having me on.
Of course.
Thank you. Mike, how many tournaments do you attend a month, do you think?
I probably play like some months I play in 3 or 4, and like for instance, this is a slower month. My daughter graduating high school. It's a busy season for my business. Have a baby on the way, so it's really just timing with my wife. When she's feeling good. I'm sure all the pool players know about when the lady gets closer to giving birth, it becomes a little more emotional, and you know what I mean. So I can't quit on my dream. I can't quit on my dream because I have a lot of responsibilities. A lot of people are like, you can't be a champion because you work and you have this and that, and you don't play full time. I just can't wrap my mind around that. I believe everybody has a moment to some of my best players. Like
Nick actually can relate.
What's that?
Nick actually can relate to you on that aspect.
Absolutely. I mean, he
did a lot of work before. Go ahead.
Yeah, I worked and played. I mean, there was times like I was telling my wife, I was like, that I used to work a 9 to 5 at a bank, and I used to bring a change of clothes and my pool cues to work at the bank. And before I get off, I'd change. I'd go straight to the pool. I'd get off at 5. I'd be at the pool all by 6. I'd be there until 2, 3 in the morning, and then I'd be home by 4. I wake up at 7, get ready, go back to work. I mean, it was 5 days a week I was doing it, and it's just the dedication. If you're not dedicated, it's just like if you're dedicated to basketball or tennis, like you're gonna make that time to get in where you're playing a tournament or you're practicing.
For sure. I mean, the game is a lot of discipline. I used to see what happened for me is when my father and my sister passed away, I actually learned pool before I learned how to deal with life, like the emotions of life. And so I was wild when I was younger, but pool kind of guided me and it taught me how to control my emotions. I mean, obviously it was probably one of my worst characteristics as a young person, going through all that turmoil. But now as I get older and I have children and I see the dedication it takes for your parents to raise you, and I realize like CJ Wiley, the game's the teacher. Even if I lose every tournament I play in, the dedication to be a champion is just as important as actually obtaining that goal, because it keeps your mind sharp, it keeps you hungry, it keeps you humble. Obviously, when you play the best players in the world, you're probably not the favorite to win each match. You know what I mean? So You know, I enjoy just the battle, the fight. You know, if I was going to give up, it would have been 20 years ago when my father and sister passed away. So, however, whatever it takes, you know, like I got third in the U.S. Open, Banks. I keep getting to the end of tournaments. The Larry Gale, I keep getting to the end and losing. I don't know if it's fatigue or if it means so much to me, but one thing I know is every time I lose, I deal with my emotions the same if I win. So winning is just a innocent bystander per se. If you happen to win, you know, your process is what makes you a winner. Like my good friend Trent White was just in Vegas. One of my students, he's in Vegas and he loses, gets down to the end and loses, but he doesn't realize he did everything he could do to be the best version of himself. So that's a victory within itself. You know what I mean? And the only losers are the ones that don't try to go for that championship. You know, that, you know what I mean? Like, you know, if you're going for it, to me, you're a part of the history of billiards. So it's like, how can you say you were a loser? I mean, you're playing the best players. You might not, at the end of the, you know, your career, you might not be considered Efren Reyes, but hey, you got to play Efren. It's you know, that's a close, right? You know, I mean,
yeah, I got my first chance to play one of the co-brothers, and I mean, that was an experience at all, you know, just they're so humble and they're so just like they're like, no, like all poker face basically, you know, same everything at the table and everything. It was really a pleasure to, I got to play Niels as well for the first time. So.
Yeah. I mean, the co-brothers, their emotional disposition is something to be learned from. They are, like you said, they're just the same every time, you know, if they were at home watching television or if they were to shoot a 3-point basket, they understand that in order to produce the same results, that composure has to be the absolute first. And, you know, if you're not composed, you know, this is what's happened to me in the past. I'll win a big match, for instance, if I beat somebody like a top 20 player in the world, and it makes me so happy that the next match, I carry that emotion into the match. And then I falter, you know what I mean? So the co-brothers are a great example of how. What's that?
Got too happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's like if you see, you know, it's like in your younger day, you know, you finally get a girlfriend and then you trip over your own words or something. You know, it's just one of those things, you know, you learn to get better at it. And one of the things I deal with my students, I say, hey, if you hit your stick or you get upset or emotional, I want you to put $1 or a $5 bill in the bucket. And then after a 3-month period of time that you do not show outward emotion in a negative manner, you get that money back. So you take that money and you buy yourself, you know, a cool pool shirt, or you take yourself, you know, treat yourself to dinner. But the point is, you have to be aware of it, because when I was younger, I definitely was not aware that the fire burning inside me was making me look a little outwardly, you know.
No, totally. I mean, another thing is that your opponents feed off of that. That's what I'm teaching my wife right now, is like, even a slight, like when you get out of shape and you're like, man, like just anything like for them to feed off of, like they feed off your energy as well. So if you're giving out negative energy, now when they get to the table, they're more comfortable.
Yes. I've won more matches when I make a mistake by not showing emotion. And what, for some reason, my opponent, I feel in my heart, they're like, man, what's wrong with that guy? He just missed a 30-degree angle straight in, and he doesn't seem rattled. Well, I definitely am internally a little perplexed about the shot. I'm like, what the hell did I do? But, however, I'm not going to give more. I'm not going to go. It's like going in debt. Do you want to go in debt and then go get drunk and get in more debt, and then hit a telephone pole? The whole goal is to not to improve your position. So when a bad thing happens on the table, it's so important, like you said, show composure. Don't take away from your opponent's moment, and just and he'll feel that, and he'll be like, man, it's something. I think, like, he'll recognize something that he doesn't have or she doesn't have that you have. And when they recognize that, they start kind of, I wouldn't say falling apart, but they start making uncharacteristic mistakes. You know, I'm aware that I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm also aware as soon as I make a mistake, I have to have a routine where, hey, I made this mistake. It's okay. It's like talking to a child. You say you can talk to yourself like meanly, or you could talk to yourself like a child. Like, for instance, my kid wants ice cream, and I say, honey, I know you want ice cream. Daddy wants ice cream too. But if I eat ice cream every day, my teeth are going to fall out. And the dentist told me I can't have ice cream. Yeah. So my point is, if you talk to yourself the same way you would talk to a child, you're going to be able to compose yourself, get back in the saddle, and then execute your game plan. As soon as you start talking to yourself, I don't mean to bring Earl up, but, if you're upset and you're talking down to yourself, there's no way. I mean, some people can be hard on themselves and still produce fruit. Yeah, but correct. I believe if they weren't so hard on themselves in a negative manner, they would produce more fruit.
Agreed, 100%. Yeah, agreed 100%. Like, I don't know if you know Bernie Pettipies out of Arizona.
I have heard of. I have a good friend, Bobby. Bobby's out there. Bobby.
Yes.
Bobby.
Emmons.
Bobby Emmons. Yes.
Yeah. He works now, but Bernie Pettipies told me a story a while ago. I used to play him a lot, and his routine was the same. He'd kick out a ball, turn around, sit down. He'd shoot a ball and miss, turn around, sit down. He'd kick at a ball. Like, it didn't matter. He was just, every time he was the same thing, just go and sit down, go and sit down. He said that he was at Derby, and he was playing Francisco and in the one pocket, and he said that we were moving the first game for like 45 minutes to an hour and 20 minutes. All we did was move. And he's all, Nick, I made a mistake. I leaked out a ball, but I stayed, and I just went and sat down, and Francisco went straight for a defensive shot when he could have penalized me for that mistake. If I would have went and looked at the rack and see if I left him open, he would have been done. Like out from wherever or however many balls he was going to run. So when me playing him and I see that, like, that's how I learned to keep my composure and like everything. And then the stories that he tells me is really great.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, the mental disposition part of the game, I think I always say pool's like being a field goal kicker. You got everybody's yelling miss. You got your fans saying you can do right. it. The goal is to be calm, understand how you get that ball through the field goal, measure the conditions, and control your emotions. When you control your emotions, it seems like you're always going to get close.
Yes.
And if you're close, you can adjust. But if you're off by a grand amount, all you're going to do is be like a mad scientist. You're going to be on one side of the miss, on another side of the miss. You know what I mean? So yeah. It's very important. Yeah, the Koch brothers are a great example of that for sure. You know.
Yes, for sure.
All those guys could be Navy SEALs if they wanted to.
Practice time do you get?
Me?
Probably. How much practice time do you do, Mike?
Well, when I was
How much
younger,
practice time do you get in, sir?
I played when I was 17 after my father and my sister passed away. I played 15 hours a day for 10 years and I never missed a day.
Wow.
I played every day.
That's dedication.
I was in depression. I was like definitely a little bit vulnerable to the world because my dad was my rock. My sister was my best friend. And when my father passed in a car accident, it was I just played pool. And then my sister, me and her played pool every day for like, I would say 3 years after my father passed away, 2 years. And then she passed away of heroin on Father's Day. And I played every single day. But the only problem was I played angry every day. And I was kind of like broken down a little bit, and I refused to feel that way. And I refuse to feel broken, like through all the things that I've done, the relationships that I've damaged, or the people that I've inspired, or the people that are going downhill that see me, I want to let them know that, yeah, we're broken, we're damaged, but we don't have to throw the box and damage it furthermore. I mean, there's no need to torture yourself furthermore. Like, I'm not going to let the game hurt my feelings. Like, if I never become a world champion, or if I never become a bank pool world champion, it's okay. Like, what is so awesome about pool is being objective and like dealing with your emotions and understanding every day. Give yourself the best option to win, the best chance to win. And if you don't, swallow it. It's like if you're in a bad relationship, you swallow it, you deal with it, and you move on to the next one, and you try to get the best out of the next one. It's not, you don't have to hurt for the rest of your life because, you tortured yourself in the early parts of it. You know what I mean? So.
How has billiards affected your life? I mean, I know a lot of us go through turmoil, just like you said, Mike, losing your family like that in such tragic ways. Did you have any issues with that as time went on with the anger issues? Did it manifest
Yes.
itself in negative, or did you keep it positive?
No, I mean, I was positive until I would start drinking. You know what I mean? And what would happen is I would play so good. I would, wouldn't make very many mistakes, and then I would drink. And the one thing I want the world to understand is that when you drink to blanken your canvas, the issue is you're not dealing with your emotions, Tracy. And I'm sure you can kind of testify for this. Drinking doesn't allow you to love yourself in such a manner where you're dealing and adjusting with the emotional. I mean, pool's probably the most emotional game out there. So when you're masking your pain and not dealing with it head on, it just compounds more and more and more. So when you're dealing with something like this, like I said, if you're a delivery guy and your box is damaged, you don't say it's already damaged, let's just throw it in the pool. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I want to take I want to be stronger moving forward over letting the game break me, and I would say when you play a lot of pros, their expectations are very high. Mm-hmm. So when they fail, they kind of look like they're jerks or something, but really it's just because they're so emotionally involved in the game that
absolutely
when they fail, they let it go, but if you always deal with your emotions by not using drugs or alcohol, the game becomes so much more beautiful, because you realize mistakes occur. But when you're paying attention to your mistakes, you master how not to miss that ball that way. You know what I mean? But when you're drinking, you just do it over and over and over. And you're like, how is this even possible? You know what I mean? So, yeah.
It's a never-ending cycle with a lot of our players in the industry. And it's been a hot topic here lately in a lot of our circles, because there are a lot of us out there that are struggling with substance abuse and alcohol abuse. And there are a lot of us that are not here anymore for those same reasons. So
sure.
I'm glad you mentioned that. We appreciate you telling us your story, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I was at Buffalo's with you, Tracy. I was with you at Buffalo's, and a guy that I don't even really know him like that, like not have a personal relationship with him, but he was friends with me on Facebook, and he was drinking, and he was a little under the influence, and he looked at me and he started crying, and he's like, "Hey man, I remember how you used to be. You'd get drunk, and you were like Tom Cruise. You were running around, putting on a show, and then obviously I would crash and get overwhelmed." And he's like, "I don't know how you did it," but the guy started crying, and I was like, "Man, this is crazy." And he's like, "Bro, you inspired me." Even though he was drinking, you can see that he had that moment where he's like, maybe he needs to make a change, And a lot of pool players, if they've seen where I was at, I'm not trying to say, woe is me, I mean, we're all kind of, if you play pool, you have to be a little bit crazy,
special.
We're all special, right? I mean,
we're all a little bit special. We love the game.
Yeah, like Scotty Townsend used to say, he's like, "Hey man, if you play pool, man, if you're inside the box, you can't beat me." I was like, "What do you mean, Scotty?" He's like, "Well," he's like, "Here's most pool players. They're inside the box. You see me, I'm out here way outside the box. See, I do things differently." And I was like, I never really realized what he meant. But really, pool, you just have to embrace your feelings, and you have to be outside the box till you can gain consistency, because, man, it'll drag you through the mud just like addiction will. So they're very much similar. But the issue is pool players use the addiction to deal with the emotional part of pool. But really, we have to get rid of the addiction so we can deal with our emotions, so pool becomes easier. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it,
Absolutely. And that's a tough thing for most of us to deal with.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick.
So I know that you play a lot of tournaments, and also you gamble as well on the table as well.
Yeah,
I got to see you perform. I got to see you perform for the first time in Alabama at IC.
I'm here in City Billiard in
ICB.
Birmingham, Alabama.
And you were playing Billy until like 6 a.m.
Yeah,
that's a lot of Red Bull and coffee.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I played long sessions, But I've never played that long, and you guys played banks, and I don't even know what the spot was or what you guys were betting. But I came in the next day. I was like, "Hey, how'd they end up?" They're like, "They just ended." I'm like, "What do you mean they just ended?" Like tell us like the whole like mentality of going through all that, because a lot.
How
of
do you
players
do those long sessions like that, Mike?
Well, I mean, I swim, I swim and I surf. You know, I surf.
Surfing machine, Nick. Massive waves.
So I'm just saying, like, when I play Billy, my goal is to make his feet bleed. I want Billy to say uncle. And what happens with Billy is we play, and he had me stuck. No, I had him stuck 5,000 playing 100 a rail, and I'm betting my own money. So you know, I'm not like overly wealthy. I just, I work hard. So 100 a rail is a big bet for me. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I can beat Billy, but I beat him before. And the way we play is he starts off giving me a 1 rail or 2 rails a game. I got him stuck 5,000. He says, Mike D, if you quit me, he says, I'll never talk to you again. I said, Billy, we have a tournament we have to play tomorrow. We've been playing for 17 hours. He said, Mike, I don't care. I'm stuck 5,000. If you quit me, I'll never play again. I said, all right, Billy. So now Billy's got me mad, and I'm literally, I was sober when I was playing Billy, and Billy was playing. I mean, I was playing the best of my life. I was shooting 4-railers. And another thing, people thought I was cheating because when he spots me 2 rails a game or 1 rail a game, at the end of every game, I move. So if he runs a 4 and he's giving me 2 rails a game, he only moves his last coin twice. So people are thinking that, I'm not moving the coin correctly, but they're not aware that he gives me a rail or 2 a game.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people were confused on the rail when they were watching you guys.
Yes. So, and we changed the spot also, depending on how much money had passed hands. So that was another thing that I think I want to educate people on. When you're getting a handicap playing by the rail, you move it each diamond. So sometimes it would appear Billy got shorted 2 rails, but really that's because he's spotting me 2 rails for the next game.
Correct.
But so then Billy comes back, and I'm down 5,000. Billy hit me with an 18 playing 100 a rail. Like,
oh my God,
it was sick. And the thing was, is Billy, he's a young man. He was having fun. He had a few beers and he was just enjoying himself. He loves playing me. And then, he broke down a little. And I said to Billy, Billy, man, I'm stuck 5,000. I said, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to have my wife send me some more money. I said, because I had him down to his last barrel, right? And he told me if I quit, we're not friends anymore. So I said, Billy, this is 27 hours later. 27 hours later. He's got me stuck 5,000. I said, Billy, if you even think about quitting, we ain't friends no more. You know what I'm saying? He gets up 5,000. And I said, man, I'll play you for 2 more days, because he had a couple beers and then the bar closed down and then it opened back up and he had a few more beers. And, Billy's like one of my favorite players, American players. And so I'm down 5,000 and I'm like, holy shit, I'm betting 1,000 over here on against Mikey Williamson. I'm betting on Tedder or something like that.
Yeah.
So I only have like
Tedder was there, Mikey.
Yeah, there was a big match there.
I'm down to my last barrel. And I said, Billy, man, if you quit me. And so now it gets back even, right? I get 5,000 back. We're dead even. I said, Billy, man, and I'm dead tired. Look, I'm about to fall over, right? I said, Billy, man, I could play for 2 more days, man. I don't know what your deal is, but look, if you quit, and I start busting his chops. I was like, if you quit, you're a wuss, you're a chicken, you know what I mean? And so I had him thinking I wanted to play for like 2 more days, and I was really about to literally fall over. I was so tired. So we broke even, but I'll tell you what, that kid has the highest gear, and the thing that he does better than anybody in the world, it's not even close. He shoots the 3-railer in the side better than anybody in the world. And the reason why that's a tough matchup for me is because I shoot the 4-railer, but if I shoot the 4-railer and it leaks out, the guy can shoot the 3-railer at will. So It's a different exchange in value, because when I play a normal 4-railer, I can play it with a little more pace. But with him, I have to creep it, because if I creep it and it hangs in the hole, it takes away his 3-railer. So he's probably the hardest person I've ever defended. I mean, he chops wood. That kid is a talent. You know, it's kind of brutal that he's not allowed to play Matchroom after all that traveling and everything. But
it does suck, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
think he's
back
on
before the
he's
US
on suspension
Open, so.
he's
Until
on suspension until the end of August, I think.
Yeah, end of August.
I think it's August.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
that
marijuana enhances. I don't think marijuana enhances your pool game. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys want to have this conversation, but I think like Adderall maybe might enhance your pool game. Maybe I could be wrong. There's other things out there.
Well, marijuana could slow down your game too, right? It could put your more focus. Not saying that you need to go out and do a lot of it, but like I know like some players.
I would assume it put you to sleep.
No. Well, I mean that. I mean, the bar might like it more. You might be eating a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's almost legal. It's going to be legal in all the states. And then now all the people that got in trouble for it, that went to prison for 10 years, now the lawyers, now they can make, you know what I mean? The lawyers are going to make all the money. And so they're going to find a way to tax it. And then all those people they put in jail for 10, 20 years ago when we were younger, kind of feel bad for them. You know what I mean? Because it really is a medicine. But, you know, that's to each his own. I'm not here to preach the gospel, you know, but I'm just, you know, I feel like it definitely is medicine, especially when you're in an airplane, you're driving 11 hours on an airplane, and your body's sore. I mean, it'd be nice if you take an edible and go to sleep. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but
no, I mean, like, no, I get it because I've done those long flights and everything recently, going to Europe, to the UK, and the World Nine Ball and everything. But I have one of those NyQuil PM pills that I take.
Yeah.
Right when I get on the flight, so I'm sleeping the whole entire time.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is what it is.
Right.
You know, like the rules are rules. Like, I mean, even when Matchroom even like invites you or even does everything for you, you have a email that you get, and there's rules on everything. They're very strict about everything.
I mean, listen, I'm all about following the rules. Obviously, the rules are meant to be followed for all the young people. You know, I would never jeopardize your career for a secondary option of pain relief. I feel as an older man, I can understand why people use it.
Yeah,
but never ever break the rules. Always want to follow the rules and follow your dreams to the young people. You know what I mean? So, yeah, for sure.
No,
Mike, what has been your biggest? Mike, what's been your biggest score so far in pool?
I beat one guy to like 34,000.
I would love to hear this story. Who have you beat for the biggest amount of money?
I'm not gonna say who because I feel like it's
not the person. Just don't say the person. Tell us the schematics.
Okay,
of how you won.
I played one game. I was up. I think 18,000 or 14,000 or something along those lines. I played one game for 9,000 apiece, one pocket, giving a guy 11 to 5. And we played one game for 18,000. And I was -2 and he needed 2.
Oh my God.
And that was the day that I learned how to play one pocket. And
I guess so.
I'm going to tell you why, because listen, I was so scared. I never sold out.
I would have been terrified.
I was playing my cue ball like it was a Navy SEAL mission where if it didn't land there, it was the wrong shot. You know what I'm saying? I'm rolling the ball and I'm just creeping the cue ball, just trying to lag up under his balls and just hang a ball. So I learned how there's an old saying like the Detroit squeeze. When you're playing one pocket and you have the lead, you want to protect your lead, right? And sometimes when you are in a deficit, you might need to be aggressive. But in this case, it was one game for 18,000. So I felt like the key was to just continue to defend and protect, you know, one ball at a time. Obviously, I was a better player than the guy, but he had me in a deficit where balls hanging in his hole. And it was just, it was a good, I mean, I've won a lot of $10,000 scores. I've played Tedder a couple times. Nothing really big, just like 1,000, 2,000 a set. I'll tell you a great story.
Tedder's always been good action though.
Yeah.
I played Scooter, right?
Tedder's
Scooter.
always been good action.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
Oh my
Tedder's-
gosh, he's another one.
That guy can
We
kick
love us some
a
Scooter and
football.
Tedder here in the state of Valley.
He can kick a football like you've never seen. I mean, I think it's like 70 yards. He can kick a football.
It's insane. It's insane. These two guys are something else. Nick, have you ever had the honor of watching the Scooter and Tedder show in an action?
No, I've heard stories with Scooter. Tedder, I've seen play. I have a nice story. He was playing in Vegas. He was playing $25,000 a game, giving this guy the 5 in the breaks and ball in hand after the breaks, playing 9-ball. And I'm not gonna say who the guy was that he was playing, but Tedder's up like 8 or 9 games at $25,000 a game. And Alex is sitting there. He has a piece of it, and he's front row on it. And we're watching from afar over at Griff's, of course. And something happens. Tedder goes on tilt. And within an hour, now he's only up 2 games. And Alex gets up. He's all, this is ridiculous. And he's all, I'm going back to my hotel. But yeah, the guy was, Tedder just needed to win like 2 more games, 3 more games, and the guy was quitting. Like the guy couldn't run out to save his life, but he gave him life. And it happens to everybody. It happens to a lot of players. You see it with matches where the tables turn and the pressure hits because the guy's finally running out or whatnot, and you can't handle it right. But it was probably one of the biggest matches I've seen, other than with JRB and Alex.
Yeah, I mean, Tedder's good action. The guy's got more gamble than BB's got blues. I mean, he's burned more steak horses than he's
good at what he does, though. Gift of gab.
He's great for the game. He's got a big heart. He's great for the game. He's always smiling, even when he's getting tortured.
Yeah, the guy, he's down.
He's also one of those guys like how I was. He gets really high emotionally. He starts putting packages together.
Yeah, and then it's like,
yeah. That's the key. Is you got to recognize when to change gears. You know, there's times when everything's working for you, so your decision making fits the situation. Yeah. But then when you start to falter, you really want to kind of change gears and say, okay, I have the lead. Let's go ahead and get balls out of play. Let's protect. Because when you're overly attacking and you're on tilt, it's just a matter of time before you sell out a shot, and then now you just give away all that momentum, all that hard work that you've built. You know what I mean? So
you're right.
Keep them in the hole.
For sure.
Right. Well, Mike, I don't want to keep you too late. I know you have things you want to do with the family. I heard the daughter opening the door, see where Daddy is.
Yeah. Let me see. Melissa, come here. You want to see my little girl? Come here.
Yeah.
Come here. Come here. Say hi. Look, we're on live. Boom. Say hi.
Hi, Melissa. Hey, Davey.
Yeah, I mean, having children taught me patience, and then I'll tell you what, it's been a roller coaster. You know what I mean? Just losing my father, my best friend, to go into having children, to having the relationship that I longed for. You know what I mean? And now that I have that, it's taken away a lot of my pain. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody out in the pool world to realize, like, your best years are still ahead of you.
Yep.
Like, I have so many friends that they seem like they give the same post, that they're upset, they're let down. The whole key is don't let those emotions control you. Make the next best decision. It doesn't matter how many bad decisions, how many businesses you've failed in, how many 9 balls you've shot in the rail. Make the next best decision. And that goes for Tracy too. That's what you're doing right now. You're making the next best decision in your life, and I think that's why you're such a strong woman. And I think, you're going to help. Your testimony is going to eventually be helping people, and it's going to change the way you view yourself. It's going to give yourself that extra boost. You know what I mean? So say bye. Melissa, say bye.
He's talking about my patheticness, Nick.
Yeah.
Say bye.
And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
What's that?
I was telling Nick, you're talking about my patheticness.
No.
We won't name any names.
Look, I had braces on my legs like Forrest Gump. I would run and fall down. I was 165 pounds. The girls would say, "You're such a nice guy, but you're just a little too skinny for me." So listen, we all deal with, you know what I'm saying? We all, you know what I mean? Now I have a grocery cart full of groceries, and I have kids, and
An abundance of children. Get
it's
off
crazy.
her, Mike.
I feel like, they never even looked at me. Now I'm unavailable, and I got beautiful children. A light bulb might hit. I mean, oh my God, I don't know. Just it changes. The psychology of life changes for sure. But my point was, don't ever give up on your dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like Trenton White, all these young players, they're the future of American pool. Do you know how many losses that they're going to take before they get to the winner's circle? You have to lose every way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you learn more from losing than you do from winning.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I lost my father and my sister, I never thought I would overcome it, And a lot of people say, "Oh, Mike D, he's fake. He stopped drinking. I liked him better when he was drunk." And then one person will say, "Oh, good," So some people will like you more. Some people will hate you when you're, the friends that I had when I was drinking, they don't want to be my friends anymore because you know what I mean. It's a unique, complex life. However, the one message I want to translate to all my friends in the pool world is that just don't make it worse. Don't make it worse. Wake up with a goal today and kick ass and take names. And if you don't achieve your goal, I guarantee you're doing better than the guy that didn't make a goal at all. I guarantee it. Doesn't matter. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, I really appreciate you guys having me on, Tracy.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you jumping on.
I'd like to be on more. I want to be involved as much as possible. Well,
I'm gonna take you up on that offer. I'm gonna need a little help while Nick's traveling.
When I'm out of town.
Holla at me, Nick. It's very very nice to formally meet you, Nick. And if you ever go any of the big tournaments, let me know and give me the scheduling, bro. Maybe we can go chop up a room or something.
Hey, for sure. I'm down with that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we can go to Europe and hustle all the foreign players at Banks.
Yeah, we appreciate it so much, Mike. You have a great night. Kiss the babies for me. Tell the wife I said hi, and we'll see you next time.
I love you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks
Cheers.
for coming on.
Too.
Later.
See ya. Like I said, he is something else. He is a character, but he's got such a big heart. He made sure that the diva got out to her car every night to make sure I was not walking by myself. He made sure that I was taken care of while I was at Buffalo's. Nobody messed with me while I was at Buffalo's. Not like I need the help or anything, but really he's a very stand-up guy.
Yeah.
And, you couldn't be there with me, so I got the next best thing.
Hey, that's good. He's a good dude, and he represents everything well. So
he's doing his best. The one thing about him is he's honest. He didn't sugarcoat anything. What you see is what you get with Mike. Yep. And there's a lot of people that don't quite get him. But it's mostly because he's had a lot of he's been kicked down quite a few times, and he keeps picking himself up, and he does it with humor. Yeah. He's larger than life, and he's a fantastic human being, and I'm honored to call him my friend. And there's going to be a special place in heaven for that man, I promise you. Yeah. The only thing he's lacking, Nick, is high chews.
Yeah, we'll send him and his family some high chews.
Absolutely. Well, it's been real, guys. Nick and his wife would like to spend a little time together this afternoon before she runs off to work. So we're going to let Nick go. But if you guys need anything from myself or Nick DeLeon, if you need to talk to one of us about anything, our lines are always open. You can contact me on my Facebook. My messenger's always open, as well as Nick's.
Yeah, my fan page as well. I get back to you guys like really quick if I have my phone on and everything, but normally
everything's confidential. We won't say a word.
No, not at all. So whatever you guys need, any questions, we have no problem asking. And of course, if you guys see me out and you want to try out the break cue, jump cue, whatever, my bag is open for tryouts. So
and normally I don't do this, but Nick DeLeon has a raffle going on. Nick, would you like to let them in a little bit on that?
So, I don't know if you guys know, but Golden State Billiard Supply is Oscar Dominguez and Desiree, and they brought me on board. So I've been helping them out, raffling off their Q-Tech products that they have. So I have a breach for raffle. There's like 12 spots left at $35 a spot, or you get 3 for $100. Anybody can participate. It'll be shipped anywhere. Everything's included. So with the shipping and everything. So I'm just raffling off a lot of Q-Tech stuff. So once this one's done, I'll be doing another raffle with the breach and an Avid together. So you'll get a combo. So just like I said, go to my page, like it, follow me. I'm posting everywhere as well, where I go, what I'm doing, and just helping out my sponsors as much as they help me out. So
if you guys were interested in anything that any of the items that Nick may have, he also carries his case around. He has an open case. The only thing he says, please do not touch my high shoes.
Don't touch the high shoes.
So just contact Nick DeLawder if you want to get in on any of those raffles or free stuff, because sometimes he does give some things away. So you guys might want to join Nick on his professional page. The Diva also has a professional page, and I'm also a champion for the kids. So you guys go to www.makotips.com to get in on this new tournament that is invite only for junior players only. All of the kids that are wanting in on my podcast, please contact Nick DeLawder or myself, and we'll schedule you a time and a day for that.
Yeah.
One child will end up on one of those teams, but you have to be on our podcast in order to do that. They will be taking the top 19 children to be placed in this tournament. So it's going to be a big one, Nick.
Yes, it is.
I hope you got, please donate. There's also other charities that are going around. Other industries are doing the same thing. We're trying to champion for our kids. Our kids are our future, to keep this industry alive. And please donate when you can. $5, $10, whatever you can spare. These kids need it for equipment, tournaments, financial support to get to their venues and places to stay. It's all about teamwork, guys. It takes a village to raise a child, and it definitely takes a village to raise a pool player. Is that right, Nick?
Yes, it is. And I have one more thing coming up in about a week or two. I'll be putting together one of my World 9-ball jerseys, a signed cue ball, Tom Chalk, and a photo, probably 11 by 14 with me and my sponsors and everything, and signed everything for you guys. So look out for that as well.
All right, guys, we're not going to keep Nick much longer. His wife will be going to work pretty soon, so we're going to let him run. And give Dory a big hug for me, Nick, and we appreciate you coming on tonight.
Hey,
as always, I'm the Diva.
And Nikon Kid.
And we're Billiard Talk, guys. We'll see you next time. Same place, same station.
Yeah.
Good
Bye,
night.
guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.